You're fatigued because you're pretending, man. You're fatigued because you're pretending. You're not being real. You're not being genuine. You're not being authentic and living from the true version of you that you know that you prefer to be. Let's get it.
I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there, guys. What's happening? My name is Sumedh Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Today I'm talking about the 3 things that are making you feel drained and tired and exhausted, okay? These are 3 different types of fatigues that gets us to stop living from our true experience of life. It gets us to live like a robot with a social mask on, trying to pretend and appease to people like, oh, look at me, I'm trying to be this particular way, I'm trying to be a professional, and so I can't do that, okay? Like, for instance, I used to think for the longest time on this channel that I can't swear, okay? I can't swear. What will my clients think of me? Ooh, maybe they'll think of me as a bad person, okay? Now I'm like, fuck, shit, okay? I'm allowed to say that, man. I'm allowed to have that freedom to express myself without thinking that I have this kind of, this pretense of being a specific character or wanting to appear a very specific way. Oh no, I need to calibrate my social media so there's nothing wrong. I need to impress my parents to make sure that they know that I'm a good little boy. Oh no. Okay? No, cut that out. Cut that shit out, man. It's really, really holding you back. It's one of the things that keeps holding you back. Not allowing yourself to speak freely to people. You're acting differently around your friends, and you're acting differently around your parents, and you're acting differently around your teachers, and you're acting differently around all of your different types of relationships that you're in, man. It's like, stop it. Cut that out. You're the same in every experience. Allow yourself to express yourself like you do in the comfort of your own living room with complete strangers. Don't put up this wall. Stop trying to, appease everybody. Get rid of that self-sacrificing mentality that's been hardwired and ingrained into the constructs of society, okay? You're being manipulated in this way from society, telling you that you have to be this very specific way, this conventional type of person. And even, there's laws against this kind of stuff too, man. And the thing is, people impose their realities onto us, right? People will impose their ideas, with some of them very toxic ideas, onto us, and then we latch onto those ideas, respecting those people, but then understanding that, hey, maybe they're not right, maybe they're not accurate, maybe there's another way of thinking about this. So really start to understand that, man. So the first one is persona fatigue. Am I being the right kind of person right now? That's gonna drain you, because you're gonna be putting on the social mask. Like, let's say you're at work, right? In work, you have a dress code. You have to speak in a very specific way. You have to get things done in a very specific way. And school also trains us like this, right? It's like we get sent to the principal's office or detention whenever we do something wrong or outside of the norm, right? And so we think that in our real life, we're gonna get punished whenever we do something, outside the norm. Oh no, we're gonna be punished for it, okay? Even you might be like 37 years old and you're like, oh man, I hope I don't get sent to the principal's office. Right? You're still living in that mentality, but guess what? You're not in high school anymore, man. You're not in high school anymore. It's time to grow up. It's time to take responsibility of your life. Okay? For real. Like, I'm 28 and I'm just starting to realize this. But the thing about it is, I've always known this, but I haven't been living through and true to that. So it's really important to be true to that, true to yourself, true to who you are. Again, AZD challenged me. He was like, yo, is this who you really want to portray yourself as? Like, you want to be this guy? No, I don't. Okay? Maybe I'm doing it for some other reason. Maybe I'm like trying to impress someone or impress girls or like do it to, it's like, man, just own up to that. Just understand that you're being a very specific way because you think you'll be respected in that very specific way, but actually you lose respect doing that. My clients respect me way more when I'm authentic, when I'm speaking my truth, when I'm genuinely trying to help them from a place where I can understand that, hey, maybe I've been through some of those experiences that they've been through. I can help them way better if I'm letting down that professional wall and like, hey, look, man, I've heard so many people here, like the psychologists and psychiatrists here, and they have this judgmental attitude. How I've learned in positive psychology, that's a big no-no. That's a big no-no. Now, of course, we're always going to judge others, right? But it's like understanding that and still adopting that understanding to be helping that other person. It's like, you still have this role of whoever you are. Obviously, there are roles, and there's role strain, as Goffman says. I'm talking about the persona that you're adopting, that you think you're doing it because you're worried about the expectations of others around you, okay? Because of their reaction. That's the other one, judgment fatigue. So persona fatigue, judgment fatigue is the second one. You're worried about what other people are gonna think about you. You're worried about their judgment on you. And so you constrict your personality. You make yourself smaller, right? I know certain people, you become like a wimpy, small little boy around your parents, like super polite and like not saying anything. Because who knows, they're gonna punish me, they're gonna hit me or whatever, right? I know that. I get that. That understanding is very there. You've been conditioned into that pattern. But man, there's gonna have to be a time where you step up. There's gonna have to be a day where you say no, okay? There's gonna have to be a time where you speak your truth and you embrace that and stop living in this facade and this lie of like, I want to be an outstanding citizen, a good Samaritan, a person in society that's meant to be like this. Okay, that's cutting off the circulation to your flow state. Because the real reason is, man, you got to do things that fill you up with life, that expand you, not constrict you. It's been a journey for me to practice breaking down that fourth wall and like understanding that, hey, this complete stranger, they don't know me, but I'm going to treat them just the same as, this other person that I do know for many years. Because again, until proven otherwise, until I know that they're a bad person, ad vitam ad culpam, for life until misbehavior, right? Until I know that they're a person that I can't trust, then I stop trusting. But other than that, man, like, of course, I'm gonna give them the same opportunity to be in my inner circle, to connect with me, to be in my life. But guess what? I have standards, and that's what people are missing nowadays. We don't have any standards for ourselves, okay? We don't maintain our own individual standards. What is one of my standards? I love being around people who are positive and creative. If you're not those kinds of people, if you're a negative person around me, I cut you out. I'm sorry. Like, that's just my standard. Now, obviously, people are negative, and I train people out of negativity and that negative mindset. But again, it's a difference when you're a client, you're coming to me for money, you want to, engage with that. And if you're trying to get my services by pretending to be my friend and just trying to like scurry away and like do this friendship type of thing with me, like trying to, quickly get a few things free from me just because you're my homie. No, man, even my friends know, like, hey, this is a service. That they'll give me donations. They'll send me money my way because they know that this is what I do for a living. So don't pretend to be friends with me just to get, free advice from me or whatever. Like, that's weird. This is what I do for a living. And you don't get that givingness and that trust with just somebody random, right? In general. It's like if you open your heart just immediately to everybody, you don't know, they could be a serial killer for all you know. You know what I mean? Like, so of course you have to have boundaries. You got to set boundaries and you got to set standards. But at the same time, man, if you're having this judgment fatigue of, oh no, what if I slip up? I've got to be politically correct in this moment or else I'll be in jail. Okay, listen, man, no. You can freely speak your mind. You can do whatever you want. Of course, there's consequences to all of that. But everything is cause and effect, man. You got to understand that too. Like, you put in good vibes into the world, you put in positivity. If you affirm in your reality that, hey, this is what I like, this is what I'm doing, I'm going to claim it. This is all mine, this is all good. I've got this. That mentality is going to push you way further than you complaining about every other step that you make and worrying about what's going to happen, right? We know this. We know this from research. We know this from experience. We know this from the people that we hang around. Third one is decision-making fatigue. A lot of you guys, maybe you read an email and you're like, I'll reply later. I'll leave it unread, and I'll just wait a week before I reply, or I'll wait until the last minute before I do this thing, And I have gotten into that mentality in my past. It just hasn't been serving me. You got to be like a honey badger. Go into the issue. Attack the problem, right? You got to be like a firefighter with this thing. Go, 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 right? With the problem. Now, not when you're trying to handle somebody else's problem. You can't be doing that, right? Because other people need to solve their own problems too, and you can guide them, you can help them, you can hold space for them, but don't be like go, 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 go with solving other people's problems. Again, you're falling into that people pleaser trap, right? It's like some of you want to solve other people's problems more than they want to solve it, right? How is that relationship gonna work, okay? So the last thing that I was talking about is this idea of a decision-making fatigue, right? So when you make a decision, right, try this out. You give yourself a timer, right? 30 seconds. Let's say you're replying to an email or whatever it is, right? You give yourself a timer and you understand that, okay, I'm ordering something online or whatever it is. You make that decision based on that timer for 30 seconds. Once that timer starts to buzz, you take that instinctual gut check and you make that decision happen, right? You make that intuition happen. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. And once you can really understand this mentality of like, okay, I can actually make fast decisions. I can rapidly understand that, okay, this is a decision that is going to help me and move me forward. Then that's the easiest way to overcome this decision-making fatigue, because we wait so long, we procrastinate so long just to make little simple decisions in our life, okay? But the more you put things off, you're telling yourself, you're identifying, right? You're identifying with the kind of person that is indecisive, right? And if you're identifying as the kind of person who's indecisive, guess what? Your decisions are gonna be slow decisions. Now, it is another thing as well, how we have to slow down in society, right? We have to slow down and take a deep breath and engage with the world. Start to engage with our bodies in a slow way. That's why I tell people, who are working out as well, to be doing things like yoga and meditation and Tai Chi and Qigong, just to get the energy flow going, just to meditate and get back to that intuition, and not just this rushed pattern of like, oh, it must be like this or it must look like that. I gotta get my way to the top, man. Now, we learn the hard way in life, right? We don't learn from other people's mistakes. When we see them mess up or whatever, we're not like, hey, that could happen to me, right? We think, oh, it's gonna happen to them, and it always happens to them and not to me. This thing that I'm doing is creating something in the long term. So don't fade yourself. Don't put yourself down like that. You've got to engage with what you truly believe in and live and embody your values in your action steps and what you're doing. Stop cutting off the circulation to your own power. I'm not talking power like a tyrannical power either. I'm talking about power as in competence, right? To have a skill set, to be good at something, to be truly a master at a specific subject. And I'm not saying master like, oh, yeah, ascended master, like, so many years of study. I finally reached the top of the mountain. There is no top of the mountain. It's an ongoing mountain. So you might as well learn to love that climb. And you might as well embody that flow state mentality to get to that point where you're like, hey man, this is something that I'm doing that nobody else has decided for me. This is something that I'm doing because it makes me happy. Because this is my passion. Because this is something that I truly believe in. Not what society believes in, not what my parents want me to think, right? Not what my teachers told me to do when I was in second grade, but something that I have truly discovered for myself. And so this discovery, this adventure mentality is really, really key for you. And something that takes practice, that takes accumulation, it takes karma points. And so when you can truly realize this, you realize that you get your energy back. You don't become so drained. Because once you don't have that persona fatigue, that decision-making fatigue, and that judgment fatigue, you can freely be the type of person that you prefer to be. Where there is no expectation, there is no sense of, oh, they're gonna judge me. There's no sense of, oh, I gotta wait a week before I make this choice. There's no sense of, oh, I gotta put on the social mask to make sure that these people like me exactly as they should. but it's just a sense of freedom and an ease where you're like, hey, I'm here to be me, only me, and nobody else. And there's a sense of ease and expressiveness that comes with that. So I want you to remember this today. I saw someone made a post where their 8-year-old son or daughter, they misspelled resolution. And they told their mom, you know, hey, what's your New Year's revolution? Okay? What's your New Year's revolution? So I want to ask you the same thing. I'm not here to tell you what is your New Year's resolution. It's not New Year, New Me, whatever that is, right? It's what is your New Year revolution? Because it's a revolution. You're revolving around, but there's a difference, a different paradigm that you're stepping into. There's a different cycle that you have to break and get into a new pattern. So really think about that. I hope you're having an incredible day wherever it is you're tuning in from. Let me know where in the world that you are listening to this from. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it to the Upward Spiral, gang. May we never be the same again. Hit that subscribe button. You already know what it is.